is MC Jamal, and today on our exclusive interview we'll be talking about rape. And today we have wonderful barristers in our midst, which we'll be meeting right about now.
Alright, my name is Barrister John Ebube Adama.
Alright.
My name is Chisu Ume.
My name is Kaide Adegoke.
Alright, this is being handled in Nigeria. Can we start with you, sir?
I think that rape cases in general have been, well, we've tried our best to handle them because of their sensitive nature within the context of the law. And in Nigeria, we have a system of justice which is common law, which we believe that each party has the right to be heard, the accused person, the victim, and we also believe that the court should also be seen to do justice. So within the frameworks of our laws, the penal code, the criminal code, and some of the newer laws that we've been passing, a lot of our case law has tried to ensure that justice is being done within the framework of the law. There may be some other factors such as, the training and the equipment and investigations that may, affect investigations or affect cases. You understand what I mean? So some of those factors come into play, and then they may affect the justice. So I think that it's important for us to have a very huge look at not just the prosecutors, but the defense and the victims, the investigation, and then the justice system in general.
All right, ma. Can we hear from you, ma?
Okay, in my opinion, opinion, Nigeria.
Yes.
In my opinion, I feel like there's been a long outturn of rape cases being prosecuted in Nigeria. And in addition to what my colleague here has said, I would state that there are several factors as to why that's the situation. One is the inability of the victims to report these cases, and that's because of the stereotype. I mean, some of them are like, oh, if I go out and say I've been raped, people are going to look at me in a certain way, so they decide to keep these things to themselves. And if we look at the frequency of rape situations and the statistics, you find out that most victims are usually underaged kids who not necessarily understand what's being done to them. They do not understand the offense that's been committed against them, and they because they don't understand the gravity, they just simply let it lie. Do you understand? That's one. And then for the adults, they'll rather deal with the pain on their own rather than being stigmatized because of the environment that we're in. I mean, we're in Nigeria. If you come out and say you're a rape victim, it's like a taboo, like, oh my God, you've been raped? How the hell? Why did you do it? People tend to stay away from you. The second thing is lack of proper investigation. You've had situations where people go to the police stations, you've heard, and then they go to the police station to report their cases, and then the police will be asking them questions like, why did you go to his house? What were you looking for? What were you wearing? And when the people who you go to for protection are asking you questions that are not even in relation to your complaints, you're taken aback. Secondly is, aside from that, we don't even have proper laboratories. Like, say, if we have to have forensic investigations, like the semen, the saliva, whatever it is, do we have that? Do we have proper police officers who are specialized in handling rape situations? And then we have I think most times, the third thing, I think why people just let it slide is, most times you find out that after going through the hurdles of trying to prove your case as a victim, the punishment that is emitted on these people does not commensurate to what you have suffered. Sometimes they walk away with 5 years. There's this very popular case of a case like that where the victim, the guy was given 5 years for rape, and I'm like, for rape, it should be side by side by capital murder and capital offenses. It's that grievous. Wow. So when they have that leniency to them, you find out that why would I even go ahead when at the end this guy is going to walk away with a slap on his back?
Okay, I saw when
His
you made a
reaction.
face.
Yeah.
Do you think 5 years
Can I
is too
just
small?
conclude? Then you
Okay,
can go
okay, you
ahead.
can conclude. All
The
right.
fourth thing is our legal framework.
Okay.
What it compromise, like what are the ingredients to properly prosecute a rape case? Most times it's often on the victim to prove your case, not on the preparedness of evidence beyond reasonable doubt. And if you look at the statutory provisions of what the elements of rape are, they tell you, rape should be an allegation for rape can successfully succeed if you can claim that it was without your consent, or even if that consent was obtained, it was obtained by force or fear, and then there was actual penetration by the of the penis into the vagina, when we even have more holes aside from the vagina. Yeah. Then the second thing is it must be collaborated, medical collaboration, medical evidence that must be collaborated, and we understand what that means. It means you have to go to the medical doctor who is going to collaborate that there was forceful penetration, and we don't have those systems in place. Even if we do have those systems, I am sure, I bet that it's very expensive to run, right? And then they now said, oh, even if it's not a medical even if it's not medical collaboration, it must be an eyewitness who must have actually seen the penetration. How plausible is that? How many eyewitnesses are actually going to say, oh, we saw when there was actual penetration? So when you look at this in totality, you find that people would just rather deal with the pain and go on with their lives, or sometimes even seek to self-help. You find that people just rather back away or shy away from going ahead because they're not. These situations that have mentioned, or these elements have mentioned, doesn't make it so easy for you to come up and say, oh, I've been a rape victim, and I'm sure justice will be.
All right. Before I come to you, I saw a face he made when she was saying 5 years was too small. Do you think it should be more, or you think it's appropriate?
I think, in general, the prison system is funny, to say the least. Wherein 5 years doesn't mean 5 years. It's not even written anywhere. I've heard that, they count half. So they count one day as a day, then the night, they don't count the night. Sometimes they say 1 year means 9 months. Nobody knows. But to me, the way I believe the law should be is that 5 years should be 5 years. If I convict you for 5 years, you should be in prison for 5 years. So I think 5 years in that ideal scenario is sufficient. I don't know what the minimum is. I'm not sure whether it's 5 years or 7 years. I think for minors it's 14 years. For crimes against nature, sexual offense against nature is 14 years. But she said something about capital offense, and I think that's egregious. I think that's that's over the top. 5 years, I think usually depending on the circumstances, the judge will give you the sentencing. They will mitigate your sentence, but I don't believe any judge should go below the minimum, if truly that is the minimum.
That's not the minimum.
What's the minimum?
The maximum is life imprisonment, but sometimes when you cannot conclusively prove your case against rape, they charge you for a lesser offense, or they sentence you for a lesser offense.
The person you talked about in the 5 year sentence, was it a... It
was rape, but maybe they couldn't properly prove rape.
If you can't prove rape, then you will be convicted for rape, would you?
You get a lesser offense. That's exactly what I'm saying. You've been raped, but because it is so tough, because of the legal requirements to prove rape in our country, because it is so tough to prove rape, you end up getting a lighter sentence. So has justice really been carried out? The person doesn't feel like this is justice enough.
All right. Let me just allow you.
You get my point?
Yeah, I get your point, but I think that's not
let's get to you now. How has rape cases been handled so far in Nigeria? I know you've spoken a lot, but let's get a light from you.
Well, in my opinion, I believe that rape cases has been handled in such a way that it has not given so much results as to what the victims are claiming, because most times you find out it's a very big burden to prove rape as an offense. So rape as one of the sexual offenses, you discover that the requirements of proving it is very, very difficult. All right, just like talking about corroboration, which is needed. You know that rape as a sexual offense is something that is done in private. It's an offense committed in private.
Usually, yeah.
Now,
times.
since most times it's committed in private, in fact, almost all the reports or whatever allegation of rape is committed in private. So it leaves the victim as a sole witness of what has happened. And when she comes out, when he or she comes out, which I may put it that way, when he or she comes out, it will be difficult for she to prove that, okay, I have been raped. Do you understand? And people buying that story, just like she said, that once you come out with the story that you have been raped, people look at it, people view it as abomination. All right, people stay away from you, and the stigma that follows it is very consequential to the point that the victim is traumatized and doesn't know which way forward. All right, so talking about it, you also look at the provisions of the law, the corroboration that is required. You look at the investigations that are conducted by the police. These are half-baked investigation, or lack of trained personnel everywhere. No adequate, facilities to actually investigate the rape cases. All right, and most times they become so afraid that they don't want even their parents to know what has happened to them. Okay, so if you look at it, and you cannot go to court without just saying, this is my story. All right, the court cannot just, based on your story, convict this man. Yeah. You understand? And then you also look at a situation where a woman can frame a man. So this whole thing comes together to make up the legislation of why should you put corroboration and so many other burden requirements on the victim to prove that this man has raped him. So I believe that because of these things, even though recently it has the requirement of corroboration has been lessened in Evidence Act, you look at it that, okay, the requirement is not so much hard that a victim cannot prove. Now, when you look at some situations like in Trinidad and Tobago, you see that the requirement of corroboration has been lessened, except the judge has to convince the jury that, okay, we would need a corroboration in this area, and then it becomes very difficult for the victim. So most times that is why the victims, based on this analysis and points, that is why the victims actually stay away from saying, okay, from saying what has happened to them and all that.
All right. Thank you so much. You want to add something?
No, as I wanted to just say, another very important thing is the blame game.
Okay,
They throw the blame game all the time. When a girl
on the
comes,
person being raped.
when a girl, right now, the person that can be recognized to be a rape victim in our Nigerian legal system, which I feel should be changed, is a woman. Because the woman that has a vagina. Yeah, but it's not recognized in law, and it's unfortunate. I mean,
recently,
over the time, some
still are adopted.
Violence against the
yes,
have stated that a man
can be raped.
Yes.
And it's been.
Yeah, and some men came out while it was trending on social media. Some men came out to say they are raped. Even the popular presenter,
the gay came out going on, and
so he said he was 11.
Anyway, what I'm even trying to say is that the blame game. They throw the blame game all the time. When a person finds courage to come out to say her truth, when I use the word her truth, is because truth differs, the circumstances surrounding what I feel happened in this situation might be different from what you think happened. So when a person finds the confidence to say her truth, she should not be shamed, she should not be stigmatized, she should not be attacked, she should not be like, oh, I know the end is for justice to be seen, to be done, right? But when a person comes out to say her truth, social media trial and conviction gets no waters. All you're going to do is you're going to make people shy away from coming out. In as much as we feel like our legal system is imperfect, the legal system is there. You have the lawyers, you have the judges, you have the courts. It's exactly why there is law. And I would always rely and trust on our legal system than on social media trial. So when a person comes out to say her truth and she has alleged an offense that has been committed against her, You're criticizing her is not going to do nothing. You're saying, oh, why would you do this? No, allow her approach a court of competent jurisdiction. Let the matter be properly tried, and let judgment be given, whether in her favor or against. But to judge or to condemn a victim is a no-no.
All right.
Because she's suffering enough already.
I have to cut you.
And just shortly, and in addition, if actually we want a good result, positive results in rape cases, we should look at some countries, adopt some countries that have advanced to the level of trying rape cases in private, in camera. All right, in cameras, and the names of the victims are withheld.
Concealed.
Right? So if you look at it, when you come in an open court telling me how did it happen, how did you
or you go to the police station and they're telling you, asking,
and the police is asking you, all those kind of investigation. You as a victim will look at it like the stress I'm going to pass through, plus the trauma that has already been meted on me. I find it difficult I just stay on my own.
The police asks you sensitive questions over the counter in view of the public.
Okay.
If you don't mind, I was going to make a point on victims.
Okay.
And I worked for 2 years in close relationship with police stations and as a prosecutor, because we used to do cases for them. And one thing an officer told me was that there's a problem with the attitude of victims, not just of rape, but of crimes in general. It seems as though a lot of people, what they see is that a victim, you get someone steals your car, or someone does something bad to you, or someone does it, and they just have this laissez-faire attitude. Oh, God will take care of it, I'll leave it for God, or things like that. And he found that it's very, very rare, and it's very, very rare for a victim of an offense to come to the station, despite all the questions, despite all the, police station trials, to come and say, look, I want this thing done. Because police stations, Nigerian police is understaffed. We have 350,000 police officers, roughly, in a country of 200 million people. So generally, to start putting out time and resources for some of these cases, of course, some cases will take lower priority. But a lot of times, it's for the victim to say, no, I want this done. Damn the stigma, damn the consequences, I want to get justice done. And he said that it's very, very rare, but it does happen. There are people like that, there are cases like that, and we see how that bears out in some of the convictions that we see.
All right. I have to just say 2 more things, sorry.
Okay.
Another thing which I feel is important is time. Justice delayed is justice denied. Our judicial system is slow. So if you tell me...
Okay, talking about this time, I just want to get it straight. How long do you think
time should be averaged? It should be decided on expectations.
Stay or hide before they come out to say they were raped? Is there any time, or if it happens now, you come out now?
Yes, please.
That's the
prefer that. Thank you.
All right, moving on. This Busola Dakolo story has been trending everywhere on the internet, and finally she has taken it to court. She has taken it to court officially, and she wants to get justice, So now I want to ask, do you think Busola Dakolo has a case? Okay, let's start with you.
I watched the video, and I believe the truth of what she said in the video. And the accused person did not deny that there was sex. So I think that if that is the story she went and told the police, I don't think that is a serious enough allegation of rape. I think that it didn't follow the parameters of what the penal code would describe as rape. No, I don't think that's a valid.
I think I disagree with Kayode on this particular point. You see, you don't need to specifically or categorically state that I was raped before you can decipher, or before you can say, okay, these are the ingredients that constitute rape. I also watched the video just shortly before this interview, because I looked at it. She was saying that he came into the house, pushed her. All right, pushed her. That is force.
Right.
You look at that; it's a force. Now, when she wanted to react, because she said that a lot of things were going on in her mind, and then when she wanted to react, that is to raise alarm, he closed her mouth. And now, that is force. Then he brought out his penis and inserted. So there was penetration.
Yeah, there was.
No doubt. There was penetration, there was force, there was no consent.
Right.
All right. Now, I don't know how I did not see, or she did not mention how old she was. All right, at that time. But in as much as you look at the categories, if you look at the first degree of a rape, you look at people of 65, 45 years and above.
Yeah.
You look at those ones that, okay, you could be impaired from raising alarm due to the fact that you're sick, or due to your old age and all that. Now, if you cannot raise alarm at that point and you never consented, then it is an imprisonment for life.
Right.
Okay? Then if you rape an underage person who is not capable of giving consent, all right, the fact that she did not react, or the fact that she did not in a way raise alarm, does not mean it does not constitute a sexual offense.
Right.
All right.
Well,
So
let me cut you here because let's hear from the lady
You
right
know,
now.
this topic for me is like super sensitive, and I'm going to start my statement with my conclusion.
Okay.
And what I'm going to say is that there is no straightforward answer to this question you just asked me.
Okay.
And the reasons are this is not a courtroom.
Okay.
I can't come out and say, does she have a case or does she not have a case? See, the thing is, justice should be done. And justice is not a one-way, it's not two-way, it's three-way. Justice for the victim, justice for the accused, and justice for the public. Okay, God. Someone has come out to say, I have been raped. It doesn't matter in what form, words, whatever way she has said it. And when I first saw the video, two things came to my head. What is the law? And is this morally right? So the question is, what comes to play is law and morals. Is it morally right to rape a woman? We all know the answer. It's a condemnable act. It is wrong. Rape is wrong. We should groom our men. They shouldn't do this. You don't take advantage of women. If a woman says no, no means no. So is it morally? It's not moral. Even the Bible condemns it. And the Bible has told you to obey the laws of the land. It is not right to rape a woman. No, no, no. But then we look at it in terms of the law.
Okay.
Let me just look at it in terms of the law.
Okay.
She has to prove her case.
Okay.
She's the victim. And this is a criminal allegation. And so the law of the land prescribes that it should be proved beyond reasonable doubt. The legal system is there. The courts are there. She approaches the courts. She seeks for justice. She comes up with whatever evidence she can provide. It's unfortunate that we don't have preservative investigations and preservative justice system. We don't have a preservative justice system, But
like
whatever it is she can work with to prove her case, fine. But then, a man's ministry is at stake. We cannot crucify a man solely on the words of another.
yes.
It is unfair.
Of course.
Justice should be done. It is not what the law is. It's not what the law ought to be. It is what is the law. Now, we cannot whip up sentiments because someone has come out to say, oh, I've been raped, and then forget that there is someone and people who love this person who are being adversely affected by the allegation. So there should be justice for all. Telling me if she has a case or not, I am not a judge. There's no evidence before me. All I have listened to is her story. And I feel and no woman should go through what she had to go through. But when you approach a court of competent jurisdiction, your truth is not enough. You have the law, the facts, the evidence, and how applicable is it. And that's it.
Okay, lastly, let's hear from you before we wrap it up.
All right, just like she said, we are not even a tribunal, not to say.
Right.
We are not
Why
even a
just-
tribunal. So we're just, we're just
Yeah.
Opinions.
Yeah.
So as a matter of fact, I look at it like, if you come to tell me your story, you know, the justice system, like when you talk about equity in justice, you're talking about people, like two persons being heard in a matter. Now, if it is even entrenched in our constitution that a man cannot be a judge in his own case, or the other man should not just hear only one man and decide upon the evidence of one man. Now, she has told us her story. In as much as I feel, like I disagreed with Kayode earlier on, that she has alleged rape. In as much as she has alleged rape, I am not saying that she has been raped. She said it, not me.
Right.
Do you understand?
Yeah.
Now, she has said she is raped because this matter is very sensitive. You cannot afford to take sides at a particular point. All right? Now, if you take sides, there are people out there who would crucify you. And if you decide to go the other way, there are also people who are ready to lynch you. So, as a matter of fact, I am looking at it in a way that, okay, because it is sensitive and dicey, I want to say she has said her own story, and we are waiting for Biodun to say his own story.
I think
he
Biodun
had
released
said- he had
a
said-
press
I have-
statement.
well,
He
well,
said, I didn't rape
I didn't
her.
rape her. Yeah.
Yeah, and
For
then,
example, he didn't say, I didn't have sex with her. He said, I didn't rape her.
All right.
and I've
All
never
right. If you
raped
look at
someone.
it, if you
so
look at
that's
it,
where the question of
if you
our judicial
This is-
system comes
yeah.
to play.
If you look at it, me personally, I would say that you cannot put morality and law
Together,
No,
can
you
never.
can't. You can. They are not together. All right. So law is law and moral is moral. Moral is what your conscience tells you that this is what is acceptable. If I say, okay, if the legislature passes into law that now if you stab a man, it is not an offense.
Right.
And then I go ahead to stab Kayode. Do you understand? In my conscience, I feel, oh my God,
I've
I
done
have
something.
done something wrong. That's moral. All right?
But
In the law, the people will say, oh, you are the Superman.
All right.
Yes.
All right, that-
Tell them.
that's-
The
No,
law won't
at
say
no
anything.
point is the law made for any other thing aside from protectionalism.
Protection, yeah.
So there is no law that will say stab a man and go scot-free.
Yeah.
The reason why there is law is so that we can live in peace and love.
Yes.
So law would when it
All
comes
right.
to morals and law would always
always
supersede.
supersede,
But we
yeah.
cannot downplay the effect of morals. That's why I said do not whip up sentiment. I feel for it. I'm upset that this can happen to anyone. I mean, I'm a lady. I could have a girl child tomorrow, and I would not want no man born of a woman to touch my child without her consent, right? But I would, and you see, that's why it's super important that our children understand their rights. That's why the Child Right Act is there. But most times it's not even activated. Get your child, girl or boy, teach them their rights as children. Not only do you do that, go a step further to teach them the implication of anyone who tries to breach their rights, so that they understand that I have my rights. This is what the law recommends, and this is what would the offender would suffer. So that it gives them the courage to say, "Mommy, someone did this to me." It's not enough to say, "When a guy touches you, just come and tell me." It's not enough, because he can lure her. But when you tell her, when a guy touches you and you say no, come and tell me, because if you tell me, see what the Child Rights Act says, this is what would happen, because it's an offense. He will be sentenced, he will be punished. Now you've given that child the right or a reason why she should come out and say it. And we should stop stigmatizing or being stereotypical or saying, forbidding it because it's going to affect the image of that child. We should be open towards accepting the truth of a person and follow through it. Do you understand my point? Follow through it and ensure that the person who did the wrong should be blamed, not the victim. Most times you see where two people are fighting and they'll tell you, someone wrongs me, like when typical example, you're driving and someone batches your car. They don't tell the person, why did you, they say, okay, leave him now, leave him. No. Why do we keep doing this? They always go to the victim to say, leave it for God. No. Why did you do it?
Yeah.
Why did you do it? So the moment we start to question the accused and stop questioning the victims, and there'll be,
But off the record, I didn't do it. All right, Mr. Kayode, last word, so we can wrap it up on this show.
I think there was a point that was made earlier about no means no.
Yeah.
And I feel like as just my own personal view is that the world is moving on. The world is moving forward.
Yeah.
from no means no. Because we're seeing cases now all over the world where people are being convicted because there was no explicit consent given. And what I said was, we have to move on from no means no to yes means yes. Wherein a man will ask the woman, can I kiss you?
And she says yes.
And she says, yes, sir, you may kiss me. Because kissing someone without their permission is assault.
Sexual assault.
Yes.
No, not sexual assault, because there's no sexual part is involved, but it's assault. And a woman can kiss a man today and go out tomorrow and say that this man kissed me without my permission. Assault. Facts. So the same thing applies to sex. We have to start changing our attitudes. Because penal code says against her will, without her consent.
Forcefully.
Threat of force, fear of force of death or hurt, right? Or if she's under the age of 40, that's penal code.
It says unlawful carnal knowledge of.
Right. Which means, but my point is against her will. How do you know what the will is if the person is just lying down there doing nothing? How do you know if it's against her consent if the person doesn't say no?
And you guys should be going around with contracts now. Sexual.
Exactly.
I just saw that. I just saw
concerning
that on,
this. I saw this on social media saying if you have something to do with the lady, you have to like send her a message on WhatsApp, so she will reply you. You keep it as received.
That's
and
it.
all that.
That one is a joke. But in Germany, I'll look for the article and forward it to your producers.
Okay.
In Germany, there's an American woman who lived 2 years in Germany.
Okay.
She said that German men, if you want to have sex with a German man, he will tell you to send him an email with 48 hours notice minimum, detailing exactly what you want to do and when you want to do it and what is allowed and what is not. It's a joke. She was saying, she was laughing, oh, German men, they're not romantic. But that is the reality of rape cases and rape allegations, because there are lots of stories of men having sex with women, consent was given or implied. They say body language, I gave you green light, or some of these funny expressions. Then they come out tomorrow, maybe they didn't enjoy the sex, maybe something happened, they say, oh, he raped me. So we need to change our attitudes. We need to understand that these things, yes, as we've all said, it's a private matter, it's very sensitive, but what is consent really? Is it something that I'll keep trying things until you say no? Or is it something that I have to ask you ahead? Because Julian Assange was extradited to whatever country he was from the Ecuadorian embassy. What did they say he did? They say he raped a woman. What was the rape there? He was having sex with her and he took off the condom. So she says that, yeah, I consented to sex, but I didn't consent to sex with. So we have to understand exactly what consent is.
Thank you so much. Thank you guys for coming through to Opinion Nigeria exclusive interview.